Hello and welcome to the 15th part of our Dominion's 6th guide for new players. In this part we're going to keep on expanding our hold on the world and get ready to take the fight to Bandar Log. So we had a pretty good turn last turn. We took a bunch of provinces, we did a bunch of battles, everything went pretty well. And we're going to continue our expansion up here in the north through Nicaea, probably onto Rotmarsh, try and take this throne here if we possibly can. And then start bringing our forces over towards Bandar Log so we can start kicking them out of our territory over there. I think things are going to get pretty spicy pretty soon. We're going to get our Snek. He can't really expand anymore. We can see that Daegor is actually a pretty decent province. Let's get some province defense here. We'll bring down that unrest. We'll start getting more income. I'm not too worried about our sea provinces. They'll be able to be safe against Bandar Log and Abyssia. They can't really break into the water that easily. So we'll send our Snek over to Camberg, and then we can decide what to do with it. If nobody's taken Strongdale yet, we might take that with him. Let's start cycling through some of our commanders. So we can see we have Audrey here in the Forest of Gila. There's a bunch of troops here. That's excellent. He's going to grab all of them and start marching his way up to Elkland, where we're going to start dropping off our troops, just so we can get a good mass of them together. We've also got our new scout, who we're going to send up further into Bandar Log territory. We've also got our spy, who will also start sending over as far as we can into Bandar Log territory. Having a look at the map, we can actually see there was a couple of battles that happened, which I don't think we went over last time. So Bandar Log tried to attack with a bunch of Meros in the Copper Canyons over here, which we can see from our scout, as well as over here in the Nidian Range. So they attacked with what looks to be a bunch of elephants and some Mercatas. The elephants did okay against the heavy cavalry. The Mercatas routed because they're cowards. But then they just routed. Yeah, they didn't even manage to kill any of the commanders, and that was a bit of a waste from them. Yeah, not a great job expanding there, Bandar Log. Obviously the AI is having a bit of difficulty expanding into these new independents. Well, that's a shame. So we've managed to take Sodorth. Sodorth is a good province, but with a lot of unrest. There'll be some magical site here. We'll try and get some defense, but I don't think that'll do anything against it. The real shame is Lothar. So Lothar, our prophet, is disease. Disease is an affliction you can get either through taking damage or over the end turn towards the winter months. And what disease means is he never heals and he loses 1/10 of his HP. Each month has a chance of getting additional afflictions, and he will eventually just die from it. Which is a shame. We've had Lothar since the beginning. Let's send him off into glorious battle in Nicaea. What we'll do as well is we'll make sure that we brought our other troops too. Let's make sure that we brought all of our crossbowmen here. Not like that. There we are. Now that we've got all our crossbows together, all of our troops together, we'll tell these guys just to stay behind their troops. These guys are undisciplined. We'll shuck them over here. And they'll go in together. And they will just try and hit the barbarians. We're using these guys as meat shields, really, just to make sure that we don't lose too many of our good troops that are over here. Once we get Nicaea, we'll probably move on to Rotmarsh. We might send one unit over into Sapphale. Hopefully we'll be able to see how good the stuff is there. Over in Elkland, now the laboratory and the temple is finished, we're going to send Pippin over to the Land Pristine. He's going to be able to build a laboratory over there as well as a temple. We can see our palisades are done in 1 month, so we'll be able to get even more Oberg crossbows as we start to get the resources from the surrounding provinces. Most importantly for that will be the Glistening Wood, which we can see has 120 resources. Sanguine Swamp has a fair bit. Everywhere else, it doesn't have that much. So the fact that we're building this fortification here next to the wood means we'll get more resources. It's a very good place for a fort. Okay, excellent. Let's move on to some of our other commanders. So we've got our big force down here in Miledeep. Fantastic. They've managed to take that province there. I'm tempted to try and grab this other province here, but the chances are that they'll probably get attacked by the Abyssians. Let's see how we do. I'm sure it'll be fine. The other option we have is to come up here towards the Endless Caverns with these Berktried Hunters that we have over there. That does also seem pretty good, and that is a good throne. So I've already changed my mind. We're going to start heading over towards that throne. We want to be able to claim it. We don't have anybody who is able to claim it, unfortunately. Either our Pretender God or our Prophet has to do it, as Ulm has no access to Holy Level 3 priests. As such, we'll be able to conquer the province, but we won't actually be able to get the effects of the throne itself. But the fact that it'll be under our control will be good. We can potentially think about getting another fort over here in the chambers underneath. That will cut off Abyssia from being able to access our lands. They will be able to use this gateway, but we do have the fortress in Felden Forest there, so I'm not too worried about that. Speaking of that, we have Adelaide. Let's construct a citadel. It's going to cost us another 600 gold to do, but that's fine. It means that we'll start getting 3 commander points a turn rather than the 2 that we currently have. Let's also get some extra infantry of Ulm. Fantastic. As far as the Woodhen Druids go, they can't really do much at all. We can get barkskin amulets, which could be quite good. We could get some extra hammers. We can start giving them out to our commanders, just to give them a little bit of extra protection. It does mean, however, that they will take more damage from fire, so it might not be the best idea against Abyssia. As it stands, I'm not really enthralled by the armors that we can make, so we'll leave that for now. Instead, we're going to make sure that they're all site searching as much as possible. We'll send this guy to Yankeep, we'll send this guy to Ionia. These guys do give us an interesting thing in that they are stealthy and also priests, which means they can actually preach our dominion in enemy provinces, which can be quite useful for expanding your dominion and getting rid of bad dominion away from your borders, where you can tactfully deny that you're doing anything at all. Okay, so we'll keep cycling through our hidden guys. So we'll get Galbus just to hide and wait. We can see that they do have some province defense here, but there's not actually really any troops here, which is good. Let's have a little look over our fortification here. We'll start repeating recruitment of our master smiths, and we'll get some more sappers. Fortunately, there's not that many recruitment points in this province because it doesn't have that high of a population. Hopefully, once we get our fortress finished, which will be next turn, we'll get a little bit more of a bonus to our recruitment points. And then, as it stands, we do see another fortress that has been built by Bandar Log down in the south. So we'll need to work on cutting off the 2 fortresses so they can't reinforce each other easily. So we'll need to take the province of Barmay. Let's send a scout there just so we can see what's happening there. As for our scout here, we're actually going to get him to hide and wait just so we can get a little bit of an idea of the provinces around us. And in Mile Deep, because it is connected to our fortress up above, we're going to get a little bit of province defense just here so we can hold this gateway here. Otherwise, we'll have to go back to the one in Yankeep. That'll take at least 2 turns to get there and then to move down into the cave, so we don't want that. We have our scout up in Godhaven. There's nothing really happening here, so we're actually going to send him back down the gateway into Ulm. That's absolutely fine. And with that, we have no more commanders, but we do have quite a considerable amount of treasury still left. So let's have a little look at our recruitment, what we can do. Let's try and get another Black Knight from here. We're already recruiting our Holbergs from here. And there's not really any troops. I already had a little look, but I just want to double check. There's no troops we really want to get from there. There's nothing we want to get from Summer Edge. Let's start bumping up the defense a little bit in our provinces, just because we can. We want to reduce the unrest as much as possible in all of these provinces. Okay, excellent. Probably what we'll do as well is we're going to want to site search a little bit more than we currently are. So we'll keep sending these guys north. We want to try and site search as much as we can in this locations here, just so we can increase our gem income where we can. And with that, we don't have anything really left to spend our money on, except for our stuff in Ulm. We don't want to forget our recruitment here. I've noticed as well in Moss Woods, we haven't actually searched this location, so we'll search with Rathari. That'll be fine. We're forging our owl quills. Excellent, excellent. So we're going to grab some of our researchers. We're going to give them our owl quills. So I didn't really go over it last turn, even though I kind of did some messing around with magical items. The way that laboratories work is not only do they allow you to research in a province with mages, but they also give you access to your global gem pool and also all of your magical item inventory here, which we can see. So as long as we're in a province with a lab, we can then select any of these items to give to any of our commanders in that province. If you're in a province without a lab, you do not have access to that. So for example, just now in Daegor, we couldn't get Ursnek any gems, we couldn't give him any magical items if we had any to give him. That's absolutely fine. As far as these Tritons go, they're not very useful at all. I thought they were mermen, but if they're Tritons, they're even worse. They're completely aquatic. They will not be able to help us expand anywhere else. We could get some Ictiids, but again, it's just normal Ictiids. They do have a net, which makes them okay, and their morale's alright. But they'll probably just die at these slingers. They don't really have the protection to do anything. Let's just go around. We'll double check our recruitment. We're making sure that we're building up our forces, other than in the Moss Woods. Silbermark, you know what? We can recruit some archers. Let's do that, and let's get another scout. We might as well. We could get some more archers here. Yeah, let's get some archers and a commander here. He can start moving troops around, and we're going to clash into these barbarians here. That's going to be the interesting thing. We're going in with no mage support, which is a little bit iffy, to be quite honest. We'll tell these guys to attack because they're so slow. We'll get Z-Me to hold behind as well. Yeah, it's going to be... We're going to take some casualties here, almost certainly. This seems like quite a few barbarians. They'll be able to punch through our protection. But hopefully we'll be fine. In Elkland, we're actually going to put the province defense up to 15, just to make sure that we are patrolling as well. We don't have any forces patrolling. We don't know if there's anybody sneaking into our territory. As it stands here, I think a lot of these provinces up here are a bit of a lost cause. We can see 4 death scales, bunch of misfortune, bunch of drain. It could just be offense, but we'll have to see. We have actually got a pocket of our dominion that's sprung up in the Brightwoods, which is quite funny. That just must have been an event that caused their dominion to go down or hostile dominion to increase. Really can't complain. Our dominion isn't that strong, but it will increase as we get more temples. The more temples you get, I believe it's every 5 temples that you build, your dominion score goes up by 1. So with that, we've done our recruitment, we've done our actions, we've spent the majority of the gold that we can spend, so let's go to our magical research. We're going to get Evocation 3 next turn. We'll get Alteration the one after that, almost 100% because of the overlap. We've used up all of our magical item treasury. The one thing you'll have to do is if you are building things like owl quills and such like that, you'll want to get them out as soon as possible just so you get the benefits from it as soon as you can. So with that, I think we'll end the turn there. And let's have a little look. So there was one battle in Nicaea. So here we are, we're attacking them in Nicaea. This is a large force of barbarians. We're going to start marching forward. Fortunately, we do have a little bit of ranged attacks, so they will start to thin their numbers. These guys have leather armor, so they've got 9 protection. They shouldn't be able to hold off against all of our troops. Our Black Knights might be in a little bit of trouble, but they have a fairly high defense skill, and they have their kite shield, so hopefully their protection will be able to save them. I say that, and we've already immediately lost one. That horse will start to try and flee. They do have their commander here at the back, who could be on a lance charge. No, oh, now he is. Yep, he's on a lance charge. We've managed to kill their commander, and we've routed the army. Fantastic. So we lost 1 Black Knight there, 5 Bear Tribe warriors, but other than that, we actually did fairly okay. It seems like the barbarians never really got going with their berserking. So there's an unexpected event that happened in Dagor. We got some glamour gems, very nice. Worldwide events happen again. Conjuration is cheaper. There's construction of the fortress. Fortresses and Forest of Gila, Palisades and Land pristine. Overall, we can see all of our infrastructure starting to come up pretty well. We'll get Pippin to construct a lab. We'll get this Hoburg here to also start constructing a fortress. So you can see here immediately we have so many more resources than we did previously. We can really pump out these crossbowmen, and quite a lot of them. So that is what we're going to do. We are also going to recruit 1 spy here. We might as well. It'll let us scout a little bit further. We can see that Encephalade is a farmland and a mountain, but I am more concerned about grabbing this province here in Rot Marsh rather than anything else. So Lothar has his troops. We're going to put all the crossbowmen together, like so. We'll grab all of our undisciplined guys, and we're going to stick them all on 1 commander. We'll give these horse guys to Z-Me. He doesn't really care about them. We're also going to slightly change up where our bear tribe is and where our meteorite guard are. So there we are. We've got a fairly good sized expansion party now. We're going to tell them to go and attack Rotmar. Shan still has some troops, does he? He's got some more bear tribe. He couldn't take all of them. That's a shame. So what we'll do instead is we'll say to Frithgarn, because he isn't commanding much, you take all of these guys, and then that means that Shan is completely free to go pick up other troops. And we could potentially put all these crossbowmen over here and these heavy cavalry there. So now we have 2 free commanders to go pick people up. It's very important when you're expanding and also getting ready to fight that you have additional commanders, not really leading troops, who are able to come forward and help you reinforce troops as you take losses as the game progresses. For example, like Tabar, so he's going to grab these archers here. And we're going to get him to drop them off in Land Pristine. It doesn't necessarily have to be on top of the armies. As long as you're dropping them off somewhere, that's better than nothing. We'll get Tarbal to a silver mark. We are recruiting some more archers there as well. We have our spy, so let's send him over. He can't quite get into the Blight Woods. You can, so we'll send him over into the Nidian range. We'll also get Scout in the Blight Woods. or sorry, Brightwoods. Our scout here is going to go to Abyssia. We can see they are slowly expanding, but there's nothing really we can do about that. We're basically just trying to fight them so we can try and take more of these provinces up here, increase our gold income. And how are we doing? So we did get, fantastic. So we got our Wizard of the Earth. He's a very good mage. He's got air, he's got earth. Fantastic. So he could also be used to get us more owl quills should we wish. I was kind of hoping that we would instead get maybe astral or water, but we'll start recruiting wizard apprentices instead of anything else, just to see what we can get for our level 1 paths. Once we have this palisade, which will be done in 3 months, then we can use that to recruit some more troops. What we're going to do is we're actually going to take a lot of these back on a show. We're going to grab them all, put them under a single commander, as well as the rest of these guys here. We'll give them to Hildegard. She can command the more troops, like so. I'm going to set them up there. We're going to have a huge force that's coming forward and going towards the Endless Caverns, so we can take this throne and also secure this part of our province here, make sure nobody can pop up in amongst us. So we're going to head up to Spring Spires here. We'll get Silvius to move a little bit further up, just so we can get good spy coverage over what exactly is happening inside Bandar Log. We want to make sure that we have good coverage because we need to know where we're going to move our armies because of this mountain range that's here. Fortunately, it does seem that there's heat, but we need to make sure that we're sending our guys into the right areas. So with that, we've now got our Master Smith who's starting to be recruited. We'll get another one of them. We're also going to recruit even more sappers than we were previously. Again, we're slightly low in recruitment points. That's because sappers are very high in recruitment points. But I think that's probably a good idea, just so we can make sure that we have the troops that we need to send. We're not going to grab those troops actually just now. We're going to head to the Shadowglade and we're going to pick up these guys here. Thorman's going to search. We're going to start making sure that we're searching things out over here. We're going to go to Summer Edge as well. Make sure we're doing that. Ursnek has landed in Konberg, so we could get him to site search. Alternatively, we could also get him to move to Elkland. So with farmland, obviously they have less of a chance of having magical sites. If we waste a turn here, chances of us getting a site aren't that great. If we move to the forest, they've got a much higher chance of having magical sites there, so that's what we'll do. I really want to get rid of some of this death scales. I'm not so happy about them, but hey-ho. These nature guys here, they're both going to search here just so we can see if there's anything there. We'll actually send this guy underneath and he can start site searching down underneath the ground. We didn't seem to find anything in the Moss Woods. That is a shame. So instead we'll get Rathari to research. And then as it stands, we'll grab all of our Master Smiths and we'll make sure they're all getting their quills. How are we doing in Ulm in terms of resources? Not too great, not too terrible. We'll get another cavalry unit. And we're already doing our recruitment here. So we still have a fair amount of income that we could use. Well, we're going to want to be putting up another temple and fortification over in Rotmarsh just so we can defend this throne. We'll also be able to claim this with our prophet because our prophet is actually here. Unlike the other one, we don't actually know what throne this is. There's a lot of lizard warriors here. These guys are coming up here without mage support, but I'm thinking just through sheer weight of numbers, they should be okay. We'll have to see how it goes. Plus, with the powers of our prophet, he'll be able to deal with any undead spam or any shenanigans that happen with that. Yep, so we're done with all of our actions. We're floating a little bit of gold, but floating gold isn't necessarily the worst thing. The main thing is that we are actually using it to recruit quite a fair amount of units. And I think with that, we'll maybe just pick up a couple of those heavy cavalry. We might as well. There's nobody really else that is worth recruiting. We're getting archers, we're getting crossbowmen, we're getting people we can't usually recruit or whose versions I don't particularly like. So I think that's absolutely fine. Let's just double check our research. Yep, so we're getting alteration next time. We'll get construction level 3 potentially the next turn. You can see we're already at 250 research points per month. Fantastic. We do need to think about setting up somebody to pick up all of these units from Ulm. And we will probably just queue up Commander of Ulm. We'll put him in Black Steel Plate, why not? He'll be recruited next turn. It's not an efficient way of using our capital, but it's easier than sending a bunch of guys out from other provinces. We could also get, I guess we could get one from Hamain. They're not going to be that many troops. If we get one from Hamain, we get one from... Now we can see here the issue we're having, especially in Ionia. Well, Ionia has no resources. It's currently sitting between 2 fortifications, so they're taking all of the resources in the provinces. To get a commander here, it takes too much resources. It's going to take us 2 turns. Even in Hamain, again, it's sitting between 2 fortifications, so it is losing out on so much of its resource income. It's pretty insane. So as it stands, we'll get it from Ulm. That's absolutely fine. And I think with that, we'll actually maybe see if there's any mercenaries we can get. So there is the Elephant Corps used by Abyssia. I'm not really that bothered about that. That should be fine. We'll just end the turn here. Okay, with that, the research into alteration has been completed. Fantastic. We did find a magical site in Ionia, the Wolf Oak. I think that's a level 1 nature site. And we've searched a bunch of other places. We didn't find anything. So there was a battle in Rotmarsh. So this is the large battle. This is for the throne. Let's have a look at the enemy force. So it's not that scary. They do have a lizard shaman who is casting a bunch of spells. He's got his bodyguards. We'll see if there's any shenanigans that happen. These lizard warriors are actually fairly scary in the early age. You can get them as statists in the early age. And they have a trident, they have a bite, so they have 2 attacks at size 3. So you've got 6 attacks coming out of a square, every square. They're fairly gold intensive and they don't have much protection, but that's a lot of attacks to be having at once. There's a chance that we'll take some casualties here just from the amount of attacks that are coming through, but we're fighting back. We've managed to rout their forces. Fantastic. Let's have a look at our casualties. We lost 3 bear tribe, we did lose 6 infantry of Ulm. Ooh. Not ideal, not ideal. If we had some mage support there, I think that would have gone better, but overall we took the province. Throne provinces are generally harder to take than non-throne provinces, so that's something to keep in mind. There was also an unexpected event in Summer Edge, which increases magic, and we lost our dominion. It's around enough temples that we should temple check our way back to it, so I'm not exactly that worried about it. And we found some more nature gems, and we completed the fortress over in Moss Woods. Fantastic. There we go. So not quite as a fun turn as last time. Let's have a look at this. So the Throne of Night. Blessed troops get dark vision. That would be good if we had blessed troops. But it does help us spare our dominion, and it does give us 1 ascension point closer to victory. So next episode, we're going to continue to consolidate our forces towards Bandar Log. We're going to make sure that we're ready to lead our men forward and clash them as much as we can. We're going to have to start sending up our priestmiths from Ulm, so our research is going to drop a little bit. That's just going to have to happen, unfortunately. But either way, we'll get to that next episode. So thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you next time. Until then, take care.